Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Shadow Empire with me, Qualification. This is the start of the next turn. We are now on turn number 6, or round 6 I suppose, in late fall. So we have a few decisions to look at. Now we have our actual infantry brigade with all of its 1,000-man battalions in it. And we should be able to start mopping up some of these guys that are near the capital. Let's take a look actually at Gap Mount's current. So the danger's been static at 8 for a few turns, I think. Fear is already down to 11. If we look at the overall happiness, still high and very high. You don't start taking penalties to worker productivity until... Yeah, well, I think it's like 50% or lower, really, so... It doesn't matter too much at this point. So we might actually be in a position to play another one of those cards. But let's go ahead and take care of our decisions first. We need to appoint a commander for the new... what is this called, actually? Our first MG Infantry Brigade. So go to our decisions here. So first we have some other stuff to take care of. Pollux wants to execute relative. Heathcliff Pollux is the governor of Gap Mount. I know this is irregular, but my honor is involved here. My daughter has committed a crime against an allied family. They demand justice. I'd like to pass the sentence myself and execute my own family member. It is best that way. So we get a few choices here. It's going to be affecting our profiles and relationships. So if we allow it, then he will like us. We will gain enforcement. And we will gain heart. Gaining heart is kind of a neutral for us. We don't really want to gain it, but it's not the worst thing in the world if we gain it, because it's being controlled by mind. No, it is our tribunals that pass justice. This would give us better relationships with our director of the Supreme Command Council, whose opinion doesn't matter that much of us, since the Supreme Command Council is the ruling part of the government, so it's essentially us. But it would reduce our enforcement profile, which is something that would be fine. It's not great, but it is not harmful in any way. And it would increase our mind a further 4 points, although actually we'd only increase it by 2 points, since it would bleed off, according to the heart. The last thing we could do is reproach the leader for asking. That would make the commander of the Supreme headquarters like us, and we would lose enforcement and gain fist. I'm not really interested in gaining fist, because that controls mind. So I think we'll just say it's our tribunals that pass justice. So we'll say no. And it did not affect the opinion of the governor, so that's good. Queen State demands an oath of peace. Queen State, let's go ahead and look on the map where Queen State is. So that's Dunkelraum. Actually, if we go to the strategic map, we could do it this way. Queen State is this nation over here. So if we look at this territory here is Queen State. An oath of peace would prevent us from moving in that direction. Where's the cutoff, actually? So this is not aligned. This is considered Queen State. So an oath of peace is going to mean that we can't invade their territory anymore without violating them, essentially. So we can either say, yes, bring out the... Well, I guess I'll read this too. Queen State wants us to swear a ritualistic and ancient oath of peace. President of Queen State tells us a ritual encompassing a solemn promise of peace is what we need. For today, for next year, for eternity. Do we accept to swear it? So if we accept it, we will gain 7 heart. And our director of the Supreme Command Council, he doesn't like that. And then the advisor, who doesn't matter either, would like it. And if we say no, then we'd be improving relationships with Whitaker and gaining fist. Gosh, if we increase our fist profile, that would be bad, because we would be really dropping mind significantly. What would we gain out of that, though? Let's see. If we were to go up in fist by 7 points, it'd be 2 to 1, so we'd gain 3. We'd be at 40. Might be at 41, depending on how it divides that. Which would allow us to get a new profile from Fist, Volunteerism. Has the benefit of extra militia battalions, unlocks the stratagem No Retreat. Not really great, honestly. There's not really any benefit in that, particularly. On the other hand, gaining Heart, that would give us the option of National Pride, which gives us a 40% morale bonus, and the stratagem Hold the Line. This is a pretty... compared to Volunteerism, I think that's much better. What's the next one unlock, though? Let's see. Higher casualty totals, or tolerance. So that's good. And then unlocks Ambush, and this one gives us character loyalty bonus and Forced March, along with the musical band. Yeah, I mean, I don't really want either of these profiles, because Mind is what we're shooting for, but... in this case, I think I will go for Heart and go for the Peace, just because the direction I'm looking to expand is that way, and this is controlled by not Queen State, by Gray State, apparently. And the other direction, obviously, we want to head into the non-aligned forces territory here. So it doesn't really harm us to be at peace with Queen State. So we'll say yes. Alright, so we gained 7 heart points. Our diplomatic relationship is now solidified. And because of that, we can see their borders. Yeah, we know who they are. It's interesting, they have borders on all 3 sides of us there. They don't own this, though. That's part of the Junivale, which means we can still pursue that road. So this is the commander of our 1st Infantry Brigade. This guy, Blaze Craterhill, he's the only junior we have left. He doesn't really have any useful skills. He does have a decent war rating, but he doesn't actually have any skills in war. I think this means having a higher war rating itself will allow him to gain XP in these skills faster. But he's not anything special. I'm fine with putting him in this role, since I'm not going to put him in anything else anyways, and we do need a commander in this unit. So let's go ahead and appoint him. It makes him like us more. Now the 1st machine gun infantry have a commander. So let's look at that. What do we want to do with the 1st machine gun infantry? I think we will... well, we need to move to surround these wild animals, for one. Maybe what we do, we take these are the buggies, I believe. Yeah, independent recon. So we'll take the independent recon. First we'll move them here, then we'll just go there. And we're just trying to, okay, here, this is very, very good. Tool Industries. Hex Park. It gives us industrial points. This is one of the best random gets that you can get on the map. Basically, it is an automated factory that will increase our production of industrial points by 20 per turn, which, as you might have been able to tell, is a huge benefit. Plus, we would get the 50,000 or 41,000 free folk that are in that settlement. So we definitely want to try and unlock that. Alright, so let's go ahead and... can we get anybody up here? We can get them... Nobody to actually surround, though, unless we have 2 units stacked. No, we don't. Okay, so we're going to move up to start surrounding here. That unit will move here. Now we're not in... These guys still have supply, actually. Just want to check that, because we are starting to get to the point. So we can go 1, 2, 3, and then 4. That should be still within the organic supply limit of our militia. Not that the militia supply is too important. It's our own troops that really are the ones we are concerned about supplying. So let's go ahead and move the rest of the MG battalions to just reinforce this surround. And then we'll put move one of them here, and we're going to be moving him up. And then their commander can move into this square. You always want to have your command unit. So for this, it's just a small unit of privates. it's weaker. It's not meant for direct combat itself, really. It can defend itself, but it's not really meant to, push the front line. The point, though, is that it gives that bonus to organizational HQ for your unit. So you want to have that available. Command power is what it's called in the actual battles. Let's see what kind of damage we would be able to do here if we were to attack with what we have. Not great odds. I think we just hold off. They probably are going to attack us from there, so we leave that be. We are definitely interested in rushing down Tool Industries as fast as possible. This unit does have movement available. We could actually send them down Junavale. The only problem with that is, what's Ras Planeta have? Assets. This is just a free folk settlement. I know I moved them back just this turn, but I would like to... I'm also interested in heading down there, but I would like to get this, so we're going to move up, capture that. Junavale itself is right here, interestingly. So do we move up? The zone of control is these tiles here, and it won't penetrate these borders unless we invade them. So if we move here, we would likely see zone of control for these, but not that one. I'm guessing there's a unit in that square. Let's move here. Yeah, so this is part of the zone of control of their capital province. And let's just move back again. So we have Ras Planeta under our control. That's good. Junavale itself is actually potentially something we could capture without too much difficulty. I mean, it's right there. But our army is all the way down here still dealing with all these wild animals and things. So that's all of our military actions for the turn. Do we want to do anything with our industrial points? I think we're still saving those up right now. Just take a look at the construction menu. Industry 1 is what we're looking for. That'll give us 50 points extra industrial points per turn. It's going to take 80, so it takes 240 of these, and we're not in a position to supply that yet, although soon we should have enough. If we take Tool Industries, we will. And do we want to play any strat cards this turn? We do have Prospecting. That could be worth it. Prospecting skill roll by the Governor. He doesn't have great odds to do it, but we would find a new resource hex. Prospecting Push, I believe, can actually spawn resource hexes, so this is something you'd want to do if you actually had already prospected the area and couldn't find anything else. You could then play this card to sort of create a new resource. I don't know if we want to play those. Sending a spy, I do think we want to do that, so let's target... we are interested in... So I don't think Queen State actually controls this zone here, really. But we are interested in spying on Queen State. So very low difficulty, not a great odds to succeed still, but we'll try it. Good, we did it. And when you get a critical success, I believe that's when you double the difficulty. So to get a critical success on a 15, you'd have to have a 30 or higher. Pretty easy to do. Basically, this changes the difficulty of the spy infiltration based on the state that you're infiltrating its own administrative apparatus. Anyway, when you critically succeed on a spy check, you get 2 spies. When you get 3 spies in a province, you get basically full vision of what they see. So that's going to help us if we get another spy, we can play it on Queen State and see what they actually control. Now, let's see. Do we want to play our national paranoia card? It now might be the best time to play it. We only have 11 fear right now. If we got the maximum of 40, we'd be at 50 fear, which would take 10 turns to bleed away, realistically. More realistically, we'd get 20 fear, which would take 5 turns. I think it's worth it, really. I mean, our happiness isn't bad, and our production is still high. So I think we will go for fear now. Let's go ahead and target... Okay, this just goes for we only have one. It says a random zone, but we only have one zone, so it's going to be our capital. Let's play this, and we gain 23, which is basically pretty much average. Now we have 5 fate points, and because we spent that, I am going to execute the traveling teachers in the capital. So that will give us a school for free, which should help to alleviate some of the happiness penalty that we just created. Archaeology effort. This is too difficult for him to do, probably. One thing we can do to boost these rolls, if we send the advisor to the governor, that'll help him with these rolls. But we don't really have the means to do that right now in terms of our political power. What do we got down here? That's non-aligned forces. Just wondering if we don't move to that. Well, this tile controls them pretty good, so we'll leave it be. And I think that's all we need to do this turn. Yeah, so let's go ahead and end the turn. Maybe worth it to invade and conquer the Junivale Federation as well. They are right there, and they may have an army, but we just built a brand new one that's going to be probably stronger than whatever they have. That would be my impression. We had a little battle there, and they attacked us, and they attacked us again. So it'll end this. Here we go. So we killed 400, lost 110 guns, so that's significant. Still the time of relative calm. We're 6 turns away from the full force of that. Completed research into university. Discovered solar energy. Very excellent for us to discover this. Scav teams have found hidden treasure near Rias Planetary in Gap Mount. 6 machinery have been secured. Very excellent for this to happen. 6 machinery is going to be very useful for us. Open contact. This is for a diplomatic thing. Another archaeology effort. And let's dismiss that. We can nationalize things. We don't need to right now. Just checking here. Oh, okay. Our spies have successfully infiltrated the Queen State. Now we can see that's the extent of their territories. They have their capital in Granitarid here. So that's a couple of miners very close to each other that we could potentially attack. Anyway, let's look at the history and see the battles. First battle, that's where we lost our infantry. It was against the wild animals. We lost a portion of the rifles. Second battle, that's where we lost some of our guns, which were part of these irregulars. And then the third battle, that's where we killed the enemy. And they're down to a mere 1,700. So, not great to lose those guns, because replenishing them... we can't do it, because they're not part of our army anyway. They're militia, so the militia has to replenish those units. But, nothing we can do about that. Might just move this unit in, and then we could potentially make a big attack here. Pull in all the regulars. So we are going to start taking stacking penalties. Overall, our saturation is 58%. Compared to the bonus that we're getting for encirclement is 75. We're still... I think it's still worth it. That unit doesn't need to be involved, although it's got decent morale, so it might be worth it to bring. If we bring the buggies in, we do get a bonus from them encircling. Let's see, can we move a unit around maybe and still... Yeah, we could. We could move that guy here. Move the walkers here. and have the walkers do the encirclement from that angle. Another way you can do it, I'm just going to click using this. So we'll attack from those, this guy, and we do want to have an attacker from that direction as well. Fully encircled, so we're attacking from all directions. We do have an attack saturation that's a little bit higher. The problem is here that the enemy just are low in number, but we can't do a whole lot about that. Do we want to increase this and just bring everybody? I don't think so. There's no real benefit in it, really. So we could bring the buggies. That does give us higher odds. What are the buggies contributing exactly? Is it to recon? Offensive power is going up, and that's about it. Yeah, well, it does decrease our penalty. So, all right, we'll attack with these units here, and I'll put it on the graphical overlay. So we had casualties, but okay, so they held. However, let's take a look at some of these things here. We'll go to the. Oof! Wow, that was some serious casualties there. The Techno Mage even died. Geez, we lost 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot of casualties. Let's look at the textual. Overall, we killed 200 of them. We lost 500, 800 units, which is a ton of units. And our readiness went down by a lot. Their readiness also went down by a lot. The commander of our Supreme Headquarters, Chip Whitaker, was killed in action in this battle. So we need a new Supreme military commander. We have 76 political points, so what I might do then is actually hire a mercenary for that role. Cost us 53 points, but it could give us somebody who's really good. So we have a new leader in the reserve pool. Let's take a look. We're going to need to appoint him next turn. Leaders and reserve pool member, Elisa Kryptonmate. So she's only capacity 2, however, you can see very high war skills and a good baseline war. Command rating 67, so that would be a good person to put in there. They are pro-democracy, which isn't good. None of the profiles match up with what we want, really, but they are a competent leader. So we will probably put them in. I mean, that was a brutal battle. We really got hit there pretty hard. If we look at what we actually took in casualties, most of it I think was militia. So these militia are down to only 3 effective units, and out of them there's rifle and militia, or RPG militia. So most of them died, I think. Then we still have 600 there. They lost 100. These guys lost some of their MGs. They're actual real army units as well. Okay, let's look at our replenished troops. We need to. You can see here this 100/200. This is like available in reserve. So we have 100 reserve infantry, and we need 200 to get delivered. We also need to get 300 MGs. So to actually produce this, I'm trying to remember how you do that exactly. Is it zone HQ? No. Replenish troops. Is that it? Infantry, SHQ, inventory. Let me just see here. We need to produce some troops. There we go. Okay, so we needed 100 privates, and we needed 300 machine guns, and we can just see there what we need. So 3 of these. So that's going to cost us 300 manpower and 6 industrial and 6 metal. which is not really that much in the scheme of things. But the unfortunate thing is that that unit having so many people killed is going to affect their morale, their readiness. Overall, these wildlife are extremely dangerous. I mean, if we look at their stats again, 120 soft defense. So they are just ludicrously powerful units. And we can't have the buggy move because they participated in the attack. I would claim Tool Industries. Might just have to do that next turn anyway. And we'll just, I think we'll end that turn there. Do we need to construct anything yet? No, we're still waiting. So we'll end that turn. Interesting, we can see all of what Queen State has. Looks like that's a volcano or something, and another one there maybe. Just to let you know, this wildlife is on... Okay, so Junivale expanded and took this territory, which means that they must either be inside of it or here. And so they attacked us there, and another attack here. We killed 400 more of them. That's good. That's all the infantry that died. 7 decisions this turn. We've discovered hospital. And we have gained the bonus. This is a way to boost relationships with a particular individual in your government by giving them money. Got another spy, so we can complete that. And we can ask a friend for help as a diplomatic action, but they have to actually like us for that. How much? We still have 118 ammo, but we are burning through it quickly, so we might want to just make 150 ammo. And that will just have us a little bit of a safety net. Okay, so let's actually look at the history, see the battles. The enemy here tried to attack our Sentinel and recon buggies, and that did not work out for them. We didn't kill any, though. And then the other battle down here, they lost 400, and we didn't lose anyone else. So that's good. Okay, I think the recon buggy has to move. It's going to be out of supply this far, but it's worth it to grab this. It has enough supplies saved up. The way it works is units will request additional supply. However, they have like their own built-in stockpile. So they don't actually run dry for a couple turns until after they have totally exhausted the supplies they have. Now, our intel says there's only 200 of them. We know that's not true from our previous attacks here. The recon buggy left, so that's probably why our intel's not as good. I don't know. We're kind of in a hard place on this wildlife. We need to attack it. We need to destroy it because it's going to keep increasing danger, and it's going to be a problem until we get rid of it. So we just have to actually win this battle. We're going to bring everybody except for the commander in on this, and I might leave out the particularly weak militia. So 15-1 is what we think, although we don't have great... what's our odds if we take him out? Still 15-1, 17-1. So that's the stacking penalties actually causing problems for us if we take them out. 14-1. So they're actually covering that angle. Okay. We do have that cumulative modifier. Well, we need to win this. So let's try the attack again. Go to the graphics. Look at that. We're losing so many men. Although every time we make one of them retreat, there we go. We finally killed. All right, I think we win the battle. There we go. When they surrender, they all die. So let's look at the textual. What did we actually have happen here? Lost 700 privates, so that's a lot. Rifle militia, we lost 100. Lost another 100 MGs. And we killed all of the enemy. finally. So we can move in, claim that tile. Finally dealt with the local wildlife. They were ridiculously strong, but we got them. And at this point, we are stretching the edge of our natural supply that we can give to this area. So I think we are going to build a road. It is going to cost us a little bit of industrial points, but we do need to start getting some of the supply out here. So where is that at? No, it's not construct. Here we go, construct road. So dirt roads are 20 per hex. Rail requires it requires a train station, so not useful for us here. Also more expensive, but dirt roads are 20 per hex. So for this, we could do it at 24. There's certain features of the terrain that are more expensive to build through. For instance, these hills are 320 to get through, which is why I'm moving it up here. We have 188 to work with. I'm just going to build the road towards tool industries. Yeah, we'll kind of build it here. Okay, so that was 24. This is another 24. 24. And then that would be 320. All right, so that's the extent of where the road will go right now. So that'll help to supply a little bit more. The Balder Peaks, yeah, there's a problem with constructing that there. Do we want to maybe spend and just go this route? Hard to say. Yeah, I think we are going to push this way. We don't have a connection to the Supreme Headquarters there. I think that's because we just got all these tiles this turn, so we can't build roads on it. Anyone else we need to move? No. Okay, this guy can still move. No, sorry, this is the wrong thing. We want to be on movement. So this unit did not participate in the attack, so it can move. We'll move it down here. Anyone else that can move? We'll move this guy here and here. We know about another unit there. We have the command, which in a defensive position, even though they're poorly suited for raw combat, they still can do a hold the line there in the hills. And they still have their full operational power. So we did finally deal with the wildlife situation, which is good. And this guy is still in range. Yeah, okay. Just checking to make sure all of our units are going to be able to get supplies. So we got decisions to do, a lot of them. Pollux wants to organize a party. I feel we do not show enough gratitude to our veterans. My plan is to organize a grand party for all our veterans, including a parade. I'd like to support this with my own humble means and leadership. So Pollux, the governor of Gapmount, which is our capital, wants to throw the party. We can allow it, which he likes, our advisor likes, our Supreme Council doesn't like. Give us government and heart. Again, we're not looking to increase heart. Also not looking to increase fist. Now mind, that is a good thing to get. No, but we'll pass your suggestion on to the responsible bureaucrats. There are reasons we don't want to expose our population to the sight of our sometimes handicapped and traumatized veterans. Interesting. Well, we want to go for that. So that's only going to give us 2 points of mind, or it should anyway. Oh, interesting. It gave us 4. I wonder if that's because there wasn't enough for it to actually be over the threshold. Or I think next turn it starts ticking down. I think that's what happens. Will we spare the time to help out militia leaders? So, requires our contention. Okay, pay them a visit. So we can just say yes here. That'll make people happy and give us militia, which is good. So let's just say yes. People liked that. Militia profile goes up. New budget allocations available. It's because it's a new year. So do we want to change the budget? I think we're basically fine with this. No changes. And Republican Union wants to make us hire their candidates. Is it this person? Accepted and gain a leader. The thing is, if we take them, we have to put them in charge of something. Which, we don't have anything to put them in charge of right now. Why don't we look at our organizational decisions? Do we want to add a new organization? Yes, we want to add the Military Research Council. So I guess actually we will say accept Jack John Moore. Hopefully he's good at science. Military Research Council is what we're adding to the government. We are going to research solar energy. And Jack John Moore. He's very smart. He doesn't have any actual technical skills. Capacity 3. Government and meritocracy are not bad profiles. So although he's part of the opposition, he kind of inherently dislikes us because of that. He is going to be someone who can do what we need. And all the characters have these, by the way, little personal histories. I think we are going to go for him for this role. Sorry, that's the Supreme Headquarters. So Supreme Headquarters, we're going to give it to Elisa, the mercenary. Her command rating is good, and you can see her suitability rating is high. It's because she actually has the high command skill, which is the most important feature of the Supreme Headquarters. Interesting to me that the actual commander of the Supreme Headquarters, which is based out of our capital, was in the fighting here. I guess the battle was the largest one our nation has fought in, so he might have been called to the front to organize the lines or something, but it seems a little bit below his pay grade, frankly, to go out there and hunt the wild animals. But I'm sure his family will have a story to tell about how their ancestor died in the Great Lizard quelling. Do we want to attack into Ras Planeta? It's really not that valuable. It is just a free folk city with 13,000, which isn't that much. So I think we just abandon this section and we move down. We're gonna start exploring to the south, heading along that road. Still hold the line here. We don't want to attack. And one thing I would like to get, actually, while we're thinking about this, it would be nice to get some artillery units. Although, actually, yeah, we don't have artillery unlocked yet. That's right. If we go to the management tab and look at the tech tree, high velocity guns, I believe these are what you need, yeah, for tanks and artillery. So we have to research this. Military Research Council functions exactly like the Economic Research Council, except for the military techs. So it'll have a discovery, it'll have stratagems, and it'll have actual research as well. Okay, I think that's everything we need to do this turn. And I think we will end the video here, and next time we'll continue in our quest to subjugate the wildlands. Finally got rid of those darn natives. Extremely bloody battle. Oh, actually, before I forget, we do need to replenish a whole bunch of troops. We need 800 infantry, so let's go deal with that. Where was that? It was here, and then, yeah, privates. Let's get 8 of them. Costs us 8 metal, 8 industry points, and 800 manpower. Whew. Hopefully we will be not having to deal with battles quite that deadly. And against something like these raiders, we're going to have a lot better time dealing with them. Anyway, yeah, we'll see you in the next one.